Today we have a few guests here with us. Well, they're not really guests, but they're presenters. We have Claire, the fire elemental of the fire pit. We have Starly, the bird, who is constantly watching everyone. And then we have Smug Ghost, a tentacle demon thing. I don't know if that's PG, but we'll go with it.
Eldritch horror.
Eldritch
I'll
horror.
agree with that.
Yeah, I think you would like Hamu or whatever, because like there's so many Eldritch horrors on Twitter now. But yeah, it seems like it's only me and Claire right now, but we'll continue because we like talking to ourselves. Yeah, let's go.
I'm a schizophrenic.
Yeah. Fair. I talk to myself sometimes too, but not too often. Please don't take me away.
Take me away. I need a hospital.
Okay, so today's topic, right, is how has 2020 affected you personally? So anyone want to continue? If not, I shall start.
I feel like each person should give their own introduction a bit more. Like,
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think I can go first, I guess.
Okay.
I'm an artist. I do some VTubing streams from time to time, and I mostly just stream art. And personally, my view on the podcast is I just have a lot of things to talk about, but I have no topics to talk about. So that's where the podcast is really where I want to be, because I'm other people can provide me the topics and I just go off.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way for me, but I actually had to make some topics and everything today. But yeah, Claire actually drew their own fire elemental profile if you're interested.
Lava, by the way, it's lava.
Lava elemental in the fire pit. Got it. Here's Starly. Starly, would you like to introduce yourself and your non copyrighted character?
My non-copyrighted bird picture. What's up, guys? I'm Starly. You can also call me Star. I'm just a normal dude along for the ride.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's like a bird.
Oh,
I
hey.
am a bird.
Welcome to the stream, Moral.
Is that Moral?
Yeah.
He said he's going to be muted for a bit because folks are
He's washing dishes.
Got it. So this is Moral, the Moral Lishat, and he is a cat who shall be joining us today. He's also a VTuber alongside me and Claire, who are PNG tubers and all that stuff, right? And yeah, he's currently muted right now, but we shall talk with him later. Okay, Smug, would you like to identify yourself?
I'm Smug. I draw. That's it, really.
All right.
Fair enough. So we have two artists in the stream. Nice.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I think Smug actually drew their own profile picture, which is really nice. So maybe follow them if you like art.
Changes will be coming soon to it. Maybe.
Okay. So, everyone ready to talk about the main topic? And sorry if I peaked the microphone there. I should probably change my settings now that I think about it. But yeah. So, let's start off with the main topic. How did 2020 go for all of you guys? In general, how do you feel about it? Also, Moral, you can interact in the chat if you would like. We shall try to respond as soon as possible.
Hello, testing. All right.
Oh, hey.
Whoa, he's here.
Yeah, Moral, you're live.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. Currently, it's actually a very small attendance, but I guess that's natural for a first stream, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think everything's working right now. Every character is working, and yeah. Moral, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Moral. I also go by Moral Truth. I am a cat VTuber who reacts to VTuber content on YouTube.
Yep. And
pretty much all I do. Yeah.
And I think one of the focuses of your channel is actually philosophy and all that, which I think we definitely will be talking about sometime in the future, if not today. And yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's our cast right now. We currently have 3 VTuber kind ofs. We have a bird, we have a eldritch abomination, and we have a talking cat and a fire elemental. And then there's me, a historian. But yeah. Okay, so let's go one by one. How did 2020 go for you? Let's start with Claire.
Okay. All right. Well, I think starting with me is a bit strong, isn't it?
Ah, that is true. Yeah, that is true. Okay. Let's start with something a bit more lighthearted then. I'll start then. So 2020, I feel, has been like really one of the weirdest years for me. However, it hasn't been too dark. Certainly, things have been pretty rough for everyone, and I haven't really talked to anyone outside of my immediate family for a while. But I don't think I've taken the worst of the issue, really. Like, I'm kind of fine with the situation at hand, but that definitely is not the same for everyone here. Foreshadowing. Okay. Okay, second person on the list. Moral, would you like to start? I mean, would you like to go?
Oh yeah, for sure. You guys can hear me fine, right?
Yeah. Oh, we can hear you fine.
I'm not cutting off or anything.
You're not cutting off, and I've already like done the filter and everything, so you're not peaking either.
All right, perfect. Yeah, 2020. Yeah, like first half of 2020, I wasn't really into like VTubing or watching VTuber content. And it was just pretty much me like finishing up school and whatnot. And then, you know, around like May or June, like I got into like YouTube, but like I went back into YouTube, but I wasn't like doing VTuber content. I was just doing like whatever really, like sit down vlogs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then around like September, that's when I decided to, you know, become a VTuber basically. It came from like the idea like hit me when like a good friend of mine like actually gifted me FaceRig. So I was just playing around with it, and then, you know, next thing you know, I became a scuffed blue cat.
I do like your cat model a lot.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, same.
And prior to that, like I think it's around like I want to say like maybe July or August. Maybe I got introduced to VTuber content, like mainly like with Hololive and whatnot. Yeah. And I guess around September when Hololive English debuted, or they got announced actually. That's actually when I started, you know, that's when I figured, hey, maybe my first video should be covering you know, the trailer for Hololive English. And then from there, hold on. Yeah, from there, basically, I just continued reacting to VTuber content, and actually, my channel has been like doing much better ever since compared to like what I was doing before.
Yeah,
and you know, I've been reaching like milestone after milestone. I ended up, you know, getting like 1K subscribers, and you know, today actually, I got into the YouTube Partner Program.
Oh, congrats!
Oh, that's cool.
Hey. It seems like 2020 was actually a pretty good year for you altogether, content creation wise.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, I met like a lot of people like in the VTuber community.
Yeah.
You know, I did like a couple collabs here and there.
Yeah.
You know,
the VTuber community.
My very first collab I did, it was with even though Soundweeb J.
I actually don't know him. I shall need to look him up after.
Oh yeah. He's like pretty cool audio guy. Like he's helped like mixing for like some of Ayunda Risu's songs and covers and whatnot.
Yeah, no, I haven't actually seen most of his stuff, but that does sound interesting, and I think that would definitely help us with the podcast.
He's like reacted to like VTuber content too. So his content's pretty funny.
Yeah. I'm glad this year has been going well for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'd say like ever since I became a VTuber and whatnot, you know, like stuff really got better, you know, for me.
The VTuber boom has been very interesting, and I definitely think we should analyze like why that is and like why everything's happening. But for now, we should probably move on to Starly and like save the most depressing for last. Well.
There's positive vibes in here.
Yeah.
I guess my 2020, I feel like the beginning of it was pretty nice because I got into like my dream university, if you could say that.
Ooh, congrats.
I know. And it was pretty cool. It's pretty nice. I really enjoyed it. definitely been fun up here and going to school for making movies and stuff.
It's probably
the summer.
Sorry.
Hmm?
I
No,
was
you
just
can
about
go
to say
ahead.
that's probably not the best introduction to your dream university, having everyone like hidey hole, but yeah. Continue.
I know. And then I know. I think once like COVID started like affecting people in like spring, I was like, this is kind of sucky. I mean, it was first world problems for me, but I was like, I got to deal with this, I guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think the worst part of 2020 would be like late August when I dealt with like some mental health stuff. But besides that, I started getting way better, and then I've met y'all from like Hollow Slaves and all those people. It's been fun. It's been nice.
Yeah. It's actually been pretty nice, like just meeting everyone in general. The community seems great, and I actually really appreciate like a lot of you guys.
Yeah, bro.
I love you all too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kiss you, Smug. Hey.
Oh yeah, if you guys didn't know, we're like basically husband and wife, you know.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
we're lovers.
A lot of wives.
Let me. Yes.
Maybe too many.
There we go.
Besides that, I don't know. I think my 2020's been pretty alright.
That's good. That's good. So now the husband/bride, please continue at Smug.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So I completely forgot this a few days ago, but I forgot I actually graduated.
Oh, congrats.
So I'm out of high school now, and this year has been really strange after that. Okay, so first of all, I was doing this paper for Spanish, and we were supposed to look at some news, and I actually found the first article that mentioned COVID, you know?
Yeah.
So this was like the first case, and at first I was like, maybe this will become a big thing, and lo and behold, it did. It was crazy.
Just
I predicted
foreshadowing.
it.
Yeah, that apparently became a big thing.
Yeah, I
apparently.
heard about it pretty early on, but a lot of
Process
people were just like dismissing it, which I think we all suffered for then. But
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much people were just brushing it off, and then next thing you know, more people were getting infected and whatnot.
yeah.
We brushed it off as well.
It's like my family and I, we saw the report about Wuhan and their lockdowns and stuff back in like February or March. Like that was really early on, right? February, I think. And I remember distinctly talking to my mother. I was like, "Oh man, Wuhan's gonna be fucked for the next month or so." And I was severely underestimating how big of a deal it was, right? I was like, oh, man. Yeah, they seem to be in a bit of a pickle for a month.
Yeah,
Just for a month, of course,
Yeah, just
right?
a little bit of.
Just a small peg. Yeah,
It's not that big.
that is actually a really interesting story since I feel like a lot of us did hear about it before it became like a big issue, right? But we never really knew how big of an issue it was until like halfway, like until like the shutdown started and everything.
Yeah, I found out it became an issue when it started affecting me in terms of university. When like pretty much I can't like go in the university to go to class in person. I had to like just do everything on and whatnot.
Yeah,
And luckily, I only did that for like a couple of months until I finished school, graduated, and whatnot from university.
everything feels so far away until it affects you personally, right? Because like
Yes.
when I heard about it like on the news or whatever, like it was something in China, right? And then one day, it just kind of showed up at our doorstep, and then we're like, yeah, you can't go to school anymore. Everything's shut down.
Right.
I feel like my school shut down pretty early because we actually shut down like this start of the year, like the spring or like early winter.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
my school shut down like mid-March.
yeah.
Yeah, that was around for me too, around like mid-March.
Like mid-March.
Yeah.
I think the thing I'm glad for is like Australia had pretty quick action and initiative. I know like a lot of people were kind of pushing back against it because it was seen as kind of like a
Authoritarian?
It seemed kind of discriminatory because like they were stopping flights from China and stuff. Realistically, should have stopped flights from like everywhere, but obviously economy wise, like that wasn't as feasible, and you couldn't predict how badly it was going to be. But yeah, we did, the government did take measures pretty fast, and that was like, I think, one of the reasons why Australia is doing so well right now.
Yeah. In the lens of the present, we can easily say that it's like they should have shut down as soon as it was like announced, right? But like from like like back then, it was like a really like really gray issue, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So Claire, I think you were probably the one who was most affected by it. Would you like to say some things about yourself and like how it's affected you?
Right. So, I mean, like, I think the whole COVID situation haven't affected me as much, like personally, because I am overall a very introverted person, and I think I lived pretty well on the internet and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was mostly fine with going to school. I feel like there's some effects to my grades because going to school physically was one of the ways that kept me on track with things, and not being able to do that like really does sort of affect my ability to keep up with the work. But overall, I think I was probably, out of my friends, one of the people who adapted best to an online environment, because even before this I was like online majority of the time.
Yeah.
Right. But like the biggest problem that happened with me was that my grandfather, he was battling cancer already since the beginning of last year. 2019. And so the idea was that like he actually thought he was getting he had his treatment, like entire treatment, back in 2019 done, and we were waiting for results on 2020 to see how he was going to do in 2020. Like maybe was it getting cured because he had the whole chemotherapy treatment in 2019, and it turns out that it was worse than ever. It's basically like the stage is unsavable, which is very unfortunate. And one of the ideas was we were going to go back to China. And if you guys didn't know, I'm born in China, and we were gonna be back in China and then like have him live his final moments back in China. Unfortunately, because of the whole COVID situation, that just entirely wasn't possible. And like as the month goes on, his condition deteriorates, and he was like, he passed away somewhere in July.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate. I'm sorry.
Yeah. For me, I think like I've talked with this with Brian before, and it's very much like I don't get emotional for a lot of stuff. Not that it's not that I don't feel emotional. It's just like I am
not outwardly displaying.
Yeah, I am one of those people who's like been really good at suppressing emotions. So you've gotten to the point where like you don't really feel much. It's like you're like an emotional stonewall, basically, is how I like to describe it. And it's actually pretty helpful when you go through emotional turbulence, I guess, because you're not like very reactive to it. So with the whole situation, I felt like a sort of a bystander looking at the situation rather than being in the situation. And like for some people, I think that's maybe a bit depressing. It is what it is. Life moves on and shit.
Yeah. I feel like at some point, if like you suppress your emotions enough, it's hard to like even tell if you're like feeling the emotions, and that's like a really weird feeling in general. because like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's definitely a weird feeling for sure. Like you don't know what you're feeling, you can't really like understand your own feelings or
yeah, like
Yeah.
you
it's pretty complicated.
intellectually know that you should be
Exactly.
sad, right? And like you beat
Yeah.
yourself up about not feeling sad, quote unquote,
Sad,
even though you
yeah.
do, right? And
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So, I can go into detail about like what happened, but I don't think it's really necessary. I
Yeah.
think the idea is just like, the whole event. I was kind of like, because I had to take care of like grandfather, I was putting most of my energy there, and I wasn't really focusing on my real life friends as much, especially since with the disconnect of COVID, you don't even get to meet them all that much. So like, I suppose in one way I had more time to take care of my grandfather because I was forced to be at home anyways. But on the other hand, like I wasn't really able to connect with my real friends as much. I still like have a lot of real friends, real life friends, but it's like it's more of like a and acquaintanceship connection rather than like a solid friendship connection.
yeah,
Yeah.
it feels more distant, right?
Mm.
Yeah, like COVID really blurred the lines between what a online or a long distance relationship was and like what like a close relationship like your friends were, because like
Mhm.
because like all relationships kind of turned online other than like the one or two friends you might come in
See,
contact with,
person.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that really puts like a question to like where society will go like in the future, since like this might affect society as like everyone's getting used to being more lonesome, right? Or it might just become like a blip in like the current fabric of society, I guess.
Yeah.
Everything seems really
Yeah,
uncertain
yeah, it's
right now.
becoming more of a lifestyle when pretty much you just have to like stay indoors. You just basically like only go out when it's necessary. You know, when you have to like go to the store, buy stuff, or you have to like go to your job and etc. And then it's become more of a thing like of people like working from home, or either that or you know people losing their jobs because of the whole pandemic situation. And it is pretty tough to like get through that. You know, it's
Yeah.
pretty tough.
Do you guys think that you will continue this way in the future? Like, do you guys personally think that once the COVID situation, let's say we get the vaccine and people are mostly okay, do you think people are going to continue this lifestyle of staying at home or connecting online mostly? Or do you think
I feel like
it will
people are
be
still
like,
gonna continue like to be like cautious, you know.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
people are gonna be more
Like being too close to somebody, like with the whole social distancing, and or like still keeping the mask on, etc.
I think we're definitely gonna keep living this lifestyle because from my business class during college, they said that because of this epidemic, it already pushed some businesses to really start thinking about going online and doing more stuff like that.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of businesses are really like seeing that they don't need to be in person anymore because that's kind of like
Yeah.
something that's been like increasing cost, I guess, right? But at the same
Yeah.
time, I think society isn't going to change much. We're just going to become more extreme about it, right? Like the people who need
so?
continue.
Go. Sorry. No. You should finish your points.
Like I think the people are like really social, like IRL, like they need like to talk to people and like have like physical connection, right? I think those people will become more attached to their physical connections, like they'll probably like go out more after like everything's blown over, right? Meanwhile, the people who have found out, oh hey, I'm kind of thriving in this situation, right? Like I'm kind of just chilling and like enjoying, and I like this lifestyle that I have during COVID, right? Those people might become more introverted. So like I think like the both sides of the extremes will just like go farther and farther away from each other, but overall society as a net whole will stay somewhat the same.
Yeah.
So my take to this actually is I think once this is where we see it as over, I think there's gonna be a huge bounce back.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have more people interacting in real life than ever before for a while, and then we'll settle back to the societal norm that we know before this. So I don't actually. So my opinion is like the opposite of like Moral, Smug, and Stali is like where we'll be more online. I think there will be more online services and there will be more like online available stuff. But I think for the majority of people, they're going to be more like, it's like repressed, right?
Yeah.
They've been repressed for like a year and possibly even longer until we're gonna return to normalcy. And once that repression releases, it's gonna bounce back. Like that's the most likely course, in my opinion.
I think it will definitely be more viable to be like reclusive or like not going outside as much, right? But I think a lot of people will like just like change like how they think about like social connections like outside of like the house and like maybe put more importance into that maybe because like you haven't like talked to anyone physically in like a year or so, right? So I think a lot of people might like put more importance into that, or we'll need to have a period where we're kind of like readjusting to society as a whole. Because like the difference between like an online and a online and like a what do you say, a physical like connection with other people, right? Is that like like is that every single motion you make IRL kind of affects how people think of you, right? Like they can tell more about what you're saying or like how you're feeling. Because like in text alone or in like call, you're not as expressive, right? Yeah. Which I think
that like people do just like the physical intimacy of being there with someone, I think.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons for VTubers being so effective, right? Or like so popular is that they kind of substitute the like the face or like the physical connection for a more animated character. Like normal streamers probably don't do that as well because they're not as animated as like a character who has multiple expression sets and everything, right? Yeah, and like people who are VTubers, I feel have a more extreme personality than like their IRL equivalent because they're not constrained by their actual identity, right? Yeah.
I think I agree with the second part. I'm not sure if I quite agree with the emotion part there. I mean, like obviously anime characters can show more extreme emotions because you can draw anything you want on them. It's not like all the anime characters are trying to do is emulate real people emotions.
That's true.
I would say like it's less. Yeah, it's less than a VTuber. Normal streamers wouldn't be less than a VTuber on that regard.
Yeah, but at the same time, I would argue that a VTuber has easier to detect emotions. Like the emotions are easier to read. Because like humans, like when I'm talking to someone like IRL, it's kind of harder to tell what they're feeling exactly, right? It's more like a gray than like a black and a white. While while a VTuber might more openly display their emotions on their chest. And that's kind of how I feel VTubers act in general, but that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at the topic list and see what we can move on from here. Okay, so we've gone over the general situation, how it's affected schooling and work, and this one's interesting. How do you think the world could have done better with like the situation? Like, what do you think is the one thing which you would have changed if anything else?
Oh God.
I personally, you can start.
Okay, sure. I'll go.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Okay, yeah.
How the world could have done better in response to the whole COVID situation, or basically, right? I think personally, one of the most important thing is trust in experts, and I think that's more of like a thing we can start tracing back for the past few years, like where our trust in experts have sort of gone downhill, especially in America.
Especially like more. Like the anti-vaxxers and everything and all that stuff.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, to go off that, I think governments did like at least a bit, but I think the problem really lies on people just blowing this off and not really thinking that COVID is a threat and just thinking of it as a common flu.
I think
that's one of the bigger reasons for the world being messed up more than how I don't know how to explain it.
And we understand. We understand.
Yeah, I feel like
yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of dumb.
I think.
Yeah, like kind of just saying there's like people out there that aren't really like taking like the whole like COVID thing seriously. Like you see people like what you said, like anti-vaxxers, and then next you know there's like people walking around not wearing a mask or like wearing like their mask like just covering their mouth but not covering their nose. You know, that like gets annoying. Like especially because I work in retail. And I've seen like customers like that, like they get a little edgy, you know, when you tell them, hey, please put your mask on, or like please cover your nose, you know, or like, oh, I can't use your bag, you know.
Yeah, imagine how many videos you.
And people take it the wrong way, you know. It baffles me, you know. And we're really like 8 months of it already of like this whole pandemic, or actually, we're like 9 months, I think, 9 months around.
I would say like closer to like a full year.
It's been like March or April since the whole pandemic.
Yeah, March. I think March is when it really took off.
So it's been more than 9 months.
Yeah, like around like 10 months.
Yeah.
I think one of the great tragedies of like the situation is that we've turned wearing a mask into a political issue instead of like a health issue, right? Like,
yes.
Like I definitely.
It's kind of like why we're seeing like viral videos of like people like ranting like, oh, I shouldn't use a mask or whatever, you know, like that's kind of videos.
Like
it ended up becoming a trend. It's like, why though?
Yeah,
I think that was the main problem with America. It's just how people turned it political.
Yeah, they turned everything.
Yeah, they made it political. It's like, why?
It's like, bro,
it's not that difficult.
I'm trying to,
put your mask on.
Just trying to live.
Yeah, bro, I'm just not trying to get this virus.
Yeah, like I think like, if I got sick with the virus, I would be fine, right? But like the problem is like the people who are more immunocompromised aren't, right? Like those, like certainly like those who can't take care of themselves or those who can't really like rely on their immune system to take care of themselves, right? Those are the people that we should be wearing a mask for instead of like because you want a slight bit more freedom, I guess, quote unquote. But yeah.
Because I remember, was it the spring when it really took off, and all these college students who had these spring plans went to like Florida and stuff, and they were like, oh yeah, the COVID doesn't affect me, bro. You know, like I'm good, I'm still good. But like, just because you're good, right, doesn't mean that everyone else
everybody's good, you know.
Yeah, everyone else is good, right?
Yeah.
So you could like get someone sick who has like a family member that's like super dangerous in contact with for having like COVID and stuff, and if they get them sick, and then that's gonna be a whole situation to deal with, and then just yeah.
And I think a lot of people miss the point that you may survive it, but it may also have lasting damage on your body as well.
Wasn't there like a study or something which says like COVID was related to depression or like some other mental problems as well? Like, I think I read something like that.
At this point, I think COVID has been related to almost every disease.
Yeah, we don't fully know what it does to someone, and I'm guessing.
I know I have a friend who had COVID, and it affected his tasting, and he had COVID like it was like early April. Right, and then since then he every time he like eats food he cannot taste it.
Oh yeah, that would be
that's a horrible feeling.
Yeah, it's sad.
I think taste is one of our most important senses for like emotion, I guess, because like food really is a main factor of society.
Yeah, like when you eat something that tastes delicious, you feel better. You know,
you're like, yeah, this is good.
Like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah,
it does have a toll on your mentality.
Yeah.
I think I've actually read a story or like some kind of document in English, right? In AP Lit, where they were talking about how communion is like part of society as a whole. Like eating with someone else is a sign of like friendship or trust, right? Because like it's inherent in like
definitely.
It's inherent in most religions. Like you have Christianity with communions, right? You have like the Sikhs have their own like open kitchens and everything. You have special foods for each religion, ethnicity. Like food is integral to like society, right? And when you take that away from someone, I think that really makes their life a lot duller.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
Yeah, that was actually a really interesting discussion though. Like I don't know what will happen like in the future with like COVID and all that, but I really hope that that people will try to take it more responsibly. Because like if we
that's why we got to a point where like restaurants had to like close down and other like businesses had to close down because of COVID.
Yeah.
Like I want to say something like if we reacted faster and more drastically, we wouldn't be in the situation now, right? But at the same time, I can't.
Because there's other countries that like doing much better, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's
in the
really
United States, for instance.
But at the same time,
I think we've learned a lesson. Like we shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. So
that's the real question there. Like, have we really learned our lesson? Like, when it happens, say again, 10, 20 years down the line, do you think we'll be able to deal with it better than we have?
I think
I don't know. That's like pretty debatable, honestly.
I feel like we have.
We can't really speak for like the entire society.
Yeah, society, but I feel like we would have more of a better chance of surviving because people would have lived through it, right? And then let's say 20 years from now, like, it's happened again. It's like, I know how to do this stuff. Put on the mask.
Yeah, for sure.
6 feet
people
apart.
would be like more prepared, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely the people who have like suffered from it, like personally, will take it a lot more seriously. So like at least in some regards, society will be better. But otherwise, I don't think we have, since like the issue of like should I lock down my country? Like if like let's say I'm like a leading politician, right? Like the question of should I lock down the country, knowing that immediate action will guarantee economic downfall, right? Or if like let's say it might not be an actual issue, right? Like it might just be like a common flu, like as everyone's saying at the beginning, right? Then like maybe I shouldn't lock it down, right? And like that's definitely something they should have done, but that's us talking from the future, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like if you were at the beginning of the year, right, and you were like the president of like the United States or like whichever country you reside in, right? Do you think you could personally say that you would have locked it down like at the start?
With the knowledge I have now, or like
if you were in that situation and you had no knowledge of the future, but you just knew what they knew back then in like May or June.
I mean, like, I think June is already far enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know most countries shut down by then, right?
Yeah.
I think most countries realize the severity of the issue at that point already. I think like the question, like when should you start shutting down is a really good question. Once you realize the severity, I think definitely you should take action as fast as possible, right?
As fast, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But I think it also happened at a really bad time for America in particular, right? Because if you shut down immediately before the election, right, and like the economy goes down, right, that will lower your chances of being reelected, which, while completely, in my opinion, kind of corrupt and not a really good thing, right? There are political downsides to quick action as well, which the problem with America and like a lot of other countries is everything is political, right? And like you need to be very careful about every issue.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the thing with that is like, is protecting the people more important than lowering the chances of you winning the election?
Yeah, I would say yes from like a moral standpoint, but like from a politician standpoint, I can't say I would agree.
Well, like here's the thing: if you are the president then isn't your job first and foremost to protect the people?
Yeah.
Isn't that what
Idealistically,
do?
yes.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
So like, sure, you can say like from a calculating standpoint, yeah, like it will be better chances if we just ignored it and pretend as it never happened. But if we want to make the right decision, we want to think about what is like the one that's benefiting the people the most, then you should be taking action as soon as you realize it's a problem, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, I imagine there are like many problems. It's kind of like hard to hyper focus on one until it actually becomes like an outlier. Because like before like all the lockdowns happened, I really didn't even like know about it. And while the president and like all those politicians probably know more about it than like I would at like my level in society, right? It's very hard to pick a pin out of like a hate pile. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were informed by medical teams and stuff.
That's
so-
true. That's true.
Yeah.
I think all the things about China and like how they were trying to like suppress the information definitely did did make us all suffer in the end, right? And
Yes, I
Yeah.
think there was a lot of problems in that as well. But at the same time, I think like at least the thing about what China did is it was able to control, like, as much as we shit on authoritarian states, the one good thing that it has is that when something like this does happen, you can actually do something about it because you have so much control.
yeah, because like
yeah.
the United States is a lot slower, right? And like a
Yeah,
lot
because,
of
like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about that one.
we do
People
feel it
don't-
slow.
want to listen as much in a country
Yeah,
like
there's like more people
that.
out there that like they only believe something if it benefits them, you know?
Yeah.
And I do think, like, obviously the president was partially, well, very much responsible for part of the reason why people were not wanting to listen to issues.
Yeah, I think like political conflict and like the parties and like all that really just makes everyone suffer in the end, right? Like like
Mm.
the reason for political parties existing is so that like your group, quote unquote, has more influence, right? Since like 50 people will have more of a say than like one person, right? Or like
Yeah.
50 single people, right? But that just makes it so that that everyone's factionated and it's like us versus them.
The idea was supposed to that you get represented.
Yeah.
That's
I-
right. That's
I mean,
like
like-
really what.
Didn't George Washington or whatever I know like some of you aren't American, I'm sorry, but like I believe like one of the founding members of like America or whatever like talked about like how we should like avoid like political parties and everything, since that like
Yeah.
Is
That
bad.
was George
Political
Washington.
parties.
yeah like the
Yeah.
entire point of Fed 51, I think, right, was like to limit the power of parties or like whatever, because like you can't like remove parties entirely without suppressing the like say of the people, right? But you can limit the effects of parties, which I think we have wholly failed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really messed that up.
Yeah, left
I
and
think having
right,
parties is the problem.
left and right are really arbitrary.
Which one is that? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I feel like left and right are really arbitrary names we give to like, political alliances, because like, what does that even mean?
Bro, I'm a up. I'm more of a up.
I'm more of a
Hard to
centralist.
Yeah, I'm not much of a political guy, so I can't really speak much about that.
Yeah. The problem with politics is it's like integrated with society. You can't really stay completely apolitical, I guess.
Well, I think a lot of people want to stay out of politics. That's like how I like to think about it years before.
Yeah.
The more like I live in a society, wow, bottom text, the more I feel its influence on me, right? The more it's like,
Yeah.
things are shit because we have bad politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the problem is that no political party completely fits any of our ideals either, right? Because like there might be one party you somewhat relate to more, right? But you definitely don't agree with all their standpoints, and that's,
with everything.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the problems with America's electoral system, because two-party system is definitely very much a issue. I think if you look at Germany, that's the best one.
Because like a lot of viewpoints are like suppressed and whatever because like only two binaries can exist at one point in like a voting system that we have in America, right? And like a lot of democracies in the world too only have two systems, right?
No, actually no. That's just America. It's mostly just America.
Mostly just America.
America's political system is one of the worst in the world.
Yeah, I can't really argue against that.
Because in Australia, what we have is, yes, we do have two main parties, but because our electoral system is, I think, first past the post, you can vote for a third party and have them have more seats in the parliament and have them slowly gain power if there's enough people gradually supporting them over time. Like, they get more funding because you voted for them.
Makes sense.
So like we can have like a Greens party that is like a valid third option, because what if they don't win, your vote just goes to your second party, which Labor, Liberal, and all that stuff. You just, and then you can still guarantee that whoever you're against don't win, but you can still vote who aligns with your actual values more.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting voting systems I would definitely like more than electoral college, right? And a very interesting thing that's happening in America right now is people are trying to trying to circumvent the electoral college, right? But I don't see that happening anytime soon and like being effective.
I remember CGP Grey talking about this.
Oh yeah. That's kind of where I heard about it from, and then I heard about it from my my history teacher or whatever too. Yeah, which I think is a very interesting idea. However, it still has a problem with politics, right? Because like it's mostly the left that are signing on to this, right? So even then, it's like, so nothing has changed, which is a problem.
Let's see. The question is, do we want to delve deeper into politics, or should we pull back a bit?
No, not really. No.
We should pull back a bit.
I think we can pull back a bit.
We're like
I think we can
on the
pull back.
boundary there.
Yeah, they were dwelling too much on that topic.
We're
The
really.
topic change would be best suited for all of us.
Topic change.
I know, like Brian and I, Toy and I, like both like very deeply interested in this sort of topic.
Yeah, but a lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
Okay, next political issue: pineapple pizza. Yes or no?
Yeah, pineapples on pizza. Yeah, that's no question, of course.
Oh yeah, pineapples on pizza is actually.
Put anything on pizza, like if it's edible, yeah, sure.
Hate it. The only reason people hate it is because it was a bandwagon.
Exactly.
I'd say
I mean,
definitely
The people hate change. People hate change.
On God.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna use that right here? Just like that.
I definitely say that pineapple pizza is a very interesting thing that I want to try one day, but I'm not sure if
Yeah,
I
we're
would
sponsored by
personally like
Pescord now, or what?
it. Well, I am part of Pescord. I don't know about you guys.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how we met, Brian.
Oh wait, really? Oh.
Bro, how do you not know where you met Moral?
Dude, I don't remember
Wow,
yesterday.
dude.
Wow.
That's how we
amazing,
met,
bro.
dude.
What a
Uh,
fake man. What a fake man. What a fake man.
Yeah, me and Claire actually also
Wow,
met
for
on
real.
Discord, kind of. Claire was in the comment section while we were discussing issues and all this stuff, kind of like we're doing now, right? And Claire was just like, I want to join, and then we were like, yeah, you're not in Discord.
Yeah, sorry, bro. You're not a pest.
I know.
Yeah, then Claire joined Discord, and then I was like, oh shoot, like just like that, on God.
Yeah,
Now I have to talk
that
to you
became a
now.
thing like a past week or two. That's been a thing.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
God.
It definitely did start in Discord and kind of
Oh
like
my
expanded from
God.
there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Discord and like all those different like friend groups, right? Like the Borge and all that, I think is a very interesting thing since like yeah, that I definitely do see it as interesting, but like there's a lot of tension between like the people who aren't part of them and like people who are part of them,
Yeah.
I think
I
should
think
be
there's a whole
remedied in
separate
some
topic
way.
we could get into.
There's a lot of tension, especially in Hollow Slaves.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've been
Hollow
trying
Slaves is
to not.
interesting.
yeah, we met in Hollow Slaves. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying not to
I
turn
met most of
into
you from Hollow Slaves.
a
I met
issue.
everyone in Hollow Slave. Oh, actually, not Claire.
Yeah, because I know like some of us are very passionate about like, hey, it's fine and hey, it's not, right? Because like,
Yeah.
because like I'm part of Discord, right? But I'm also not part of
Uh-huh.
Borge, so I can like see both sides of the issue, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, like it feels kind of
yeah.
exclusionist, right? But at the same time, like, what are you gonna do about it? It's a friend group. You can't just force yourself into a friend group, right? Or like
Exactly.
everyone has the right
Yeah,
to a friend
yeah.
group.
Like I personally don't really care, or not care, but I don't like the exclusivity about it because then a lot of other people are left out. But at the same time, it's just a group. You
Yeah,
shouldn't
they
really
have a
care
right
about
to
that.
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a group.
It's just a group of people. Like I'm sure you, I was gonna say, I'm sure each person has like their own little group of people to hang out with, and like, yeah, I don't want everyone to
Oh, I
come
wish,
join
man.
this group.
Yeah.
I think a reason why like a lot of people feel the want feel so passionately about wanting to join these friend group is because a lot of times one, like it is very out there on Twitter, so it's out there for the world to see. Like normally if you're in a friend
Yes.
group, you wouldn't be posting like collectively on Twitter, really, right?
Yeah.
They're a lot more.
And
vocal.
secondly, they're a lot more vocal. And secondly, it's that these friend groups, they generally consist of quite a large amount of people, like more than your usual like 10 people like group server
Close.
would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a
And
very
that's
large.
that's where people feel like they want to be a part of it because they see it as sort of a status symbol in a sense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
definitely see some people trying to join Discord specifically for clout these days, right? And like, I think Pepe, like the person who's also might join us another day, but who's also like the leader of Discord, right? Has actually been posting a lot on Twitter about recently, because there are people who are like DMing him things like, there was that copy pasta where it was like, let me join Discord, blah 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 blah. It would make my day, blah blah blah. Some other random.
Oh, it was
stuff,
like a
right?
long copy pasta or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but someone actually
Yeah.
DM'd him something like that, and then there's also like people sending him hate mail now, or not hate mail, right? But like DMs,
Oh yeah, they're sending like hate
Yeah,
on Discord,
yeah.
even to Discord.
which I think is
Yeah.
totally uncalled for. Like you're not included. Like yeah, like it's fine. You're not included.
Yeah,
Like,
just
why
don't
do
like
you
take it
care?
personally. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, like why do you care about that you're not in X friend group, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah. In one way or another, it does feel like you're not being included, right? But in the other way, it's totally fine, I think, because like, an issue in the VTuber community, I think that everyone agrees on is that more gatekeeping could be helpful, right? Because there's a lot of people just bandwagoning onto it and like kind of like harassing VTubers and everything, right? And I think these
I
friend
wouldn't
groups,
say gatekeeping is a good word to use.
Yeah, it has a lot of
I mean-
stigma with it.
To be fair, gatekeeping is a pretty strong word, but I don't know what
Yeah.
else you could replace it with.
Moderation, maybe.
Yeah,
Moderation. Yeah.
Yes, I
the
suppose.
thing is, like, for things like ClickCord, PezCord, Borge, they're all
Cord.
like BorgeCord. They're all like people who naturally know each other, right? If you're
Yeah.
not getting,
Yeah.
you're not familiar with the people enough. And I wouldn't call that gatekeeping, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
natural
I'm
friend
not-
group stuff.
It's like if you were to transfer to a high school, right? In the middle of like your senior year, you just try to join someone's friend group, and like, we don't know you. Like, can you like not try to insert yourself into this
Yeah.
group or something like that?
I think one of the major nice things about said groups, right? Like for my experience in Pezcord, right, is that everyone seems really cool. Like there's no random figures who end up being really problematic, right? Because I know there was like a lot of like how do I say this? In Hollow Slaves there were a lot of figures which were very aggressive or very like argumentative and all that, and there was a lot of factionism, right? But in like in more closed societies, people tend to be chiller with each other, right? Because everyone's part of the same group, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is one benefit, which I think might be useful for like characters like VTubers or very public personas, right? Because like I definitely do see why, let's say Domo wouldn't be part of a giant server and constantly interact, right? Because like it's hard to make connection, blah 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 blah, and there's a lot of unsavory figures, right? Which
Mhm.
I do see the need for it. However, at the same time, like it's a very hot button issue. What if we just made a friend group for every single occasion?
Oh,
Every
God.
single occasion,
The
that'll be
the Cordiverse.
Imagine that, right?
Yeah. No, a Sunday driving cord.
Sunday driving course. Y'all go out on Sunday and drive.
Oh yeah, a cold weather Discord.
Bet.
Oh yeah, hey.
Hey, we have our own friend group now. Let's go.
imagine something.
No one's invited.
Would be like, let
No
me
one
use
else.
the ACW code,
Uh,
please. I mean, that's when you know you made it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot to edit stream info. But
Alright.
Hey,
Bro, are we?
this is stuff, but I'm enjoying it.
more into lesson on stocks.
What's on the stocks?
Oh dear, no.
Oh yeah, I
we know
did
about stocks.
teach people about stops a few days ago, which is why it was stuck.
Good.
Yeah, I should have probably done more on the stream side, but I was kind of just like scurrying to get my setup working again. Because like I had to redo
Yeah.
all of this from like random files I had on my computer. Wait, it's not a cold weather Discord, it's a cold weather podcast. But yeah.
Did you put cold weather Discord? I hope this is a cold weather Discord podcast.
Oh man, alright.
Everyone's invited now.
Everyone's invited.
They made it.
Yeah, so that's about an hour of streaming right there. I think this is a pretty good spot to end it. Although I will say that I did have a lot of fun and would love to continue this another day, right? Oh no,
Oh yeah.
we clashed with Domo stream. Pain, man, pain.
And
Yeah.
Hey, this is-
I definitely
was-
think that stocks is an important issue that we should totally touch over because like it gives a lot more social mobility, right? Like
stocks?
yeah,
Don't
stock.
know
No, pain.
Socks.
much about
Socks
stocks.
on socks.
I should learn more about it. I should maybe try investing in it, but
Yeah,
I know it's better
I've
to invest in
actually-
stocks than gambling. That's what I learned.
Yeah, stocks is just educated gambling where you can pull out and like continue anytime you want. So like it's not as risky as like actual gambling, and I would suggest it over gambling, right? But it's a lot more long term, right? So
I mean,
Yes.
it is still quite unpredictable. So you should take
Yeah.
it with like same measure of
You should be
caution
very
as you
careful with it, right? Yeah. But I would definitely like to like teach more people about stocks so that way they're not like completely clueless to the issue, because I think it would be helpful for a lot of people to actually know how to like invest in all that, since like a lot of people don't know how to invest, right? And that is, I think that's a bad thing for everyone in the end. But yeah,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
might be an issue
Mhm.
for next podcast stream. But any
Yeah.
last thoughts that you guys want to conclude on, or any other topics you want to revive the conversation?
Birds aren't real.
It's-
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
wait.
agree to that.
Wait, it says Charlie.
I'm not real, guys.
You were never real. It was
I was
illusion.
never real.
Real in my
Yeah.
heart.
Bro, y'all didn't take your schizophrenic medicine, bro. Come on.
There we go.
I'm not real.
There you have it, folks, right?
It's the giant bird cyborg thing.
Bird cyborg.
Why is it standing on my head?
He's immune to fire.
I'm immune to fire.
Yes,
It works. Nothing is immune to fire.
pain.
True.
But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. I would totally love to continue these conversations another day. This was a cold weather podcast for everyone. We do this every Monday at 10 EST, 9 CST, I believe, and whatever time it is for Claire. I think it's like 3 p.m. In Australia.
2 p.m. AEST.
Yeah. But we will be
Yeah.
trying to do this semi-regularly for every week, and I am hoping to increase like the production quality eventually. This was our first
Look at
stream.
me.
If any of you guys are new to joining, because I actually do see some people trickling in, right? And yeah, nice to meet you,
Alright.
and have a
Fun
good day.
discussions.